Hey guys, thanks for doing a ride along with me. I was going to, this is the second time I'm filming this, I was going to take you guys to Goodwill with me to drop off these bags here in the back. We'll get rid of some old CDs and stuff, and then we're going to come to Starbucks. So we've actually went to the parking lot of the Goodwill. It is 6:40 on a Sunday night, and they closed at 6 apparently. I thought they closed at 7. This is good. So, Prickly, what do they call it? Momo, do you remember? He's down here. This is a puppuccino, by the way. It's just a cup of whipped cream, and they give that to your dog if you have them in the car and you take them to Starbucks with you, if you go through the drive-thru. And then Rebel's over here eating his. This is Prickly Bear pineapple cream or something like that. It's one of the new drinks that Starbucks has, you know, like one of their little limited edition things. It's not too healthy, I would imagine, but it's very, very good. It's like a mild vanilla bean frappuccino, like very mild, with some raspberry puree over it or something. Very good though. Well, I don't have a lot to talk to you guys about today. It might actually be a good day for me to do my fibromyalgia talk that I've been thinking about doing. Because I just got over a really bad flare that kind of kicked my butt for about 2 weeks. And so, like, my videos, I haven't had my hair done, haven't had any makeup on. So, you can see I look a little bit better today just because I have done my hair and makeup. But I also just woke up because I came home from church. Well, actually, I didn't just come home from church. We went to see our niece be baptized in Murfreesboro, which is about 45 minutes away from us. And so we went to that this morning, and then we had to go to Antioch to run an errand, and then we come back to town and picked up Emily, and we went to go eat. And then as soon as we got through with all that, he had to take the kids back to Kentucky. And so I took a nap because I was running on about 4 hours of sleep, and have just now gotten up. And I had promised the dogs earlier that I would let them drive, which is code for you want to go to Starbucks, so they know what that means. And I didn't get to, so I wanted one, and I had promised them a treat, so I gotta keep my promise. So here we are enjoying our drink, and I am feeling better, and so today just might be the day to do that talk because I'm not on a time crunch or anything really. And you guys have seen kind of what a flare up is like for me. That was really a short flare up. They can last up to 6 to 9 weeks, which is about a typical one for me. That was just from actually just going to a concert. Wanted to do something fun with my little boyfriend, and took off to Nashville for an evening of music and sat on the ground. And so for that 3 hours of sitting on the ground listening to music, I paid for it for 2 weeks. Could not hardly physically move, just exhausted. I feel like I have the flu all the time anyways. If you don't know much about fibromyalgia, maybe I'll do a whole slide and PowerPoint show. Maybe I'll put some facts in or something, I don't know. When I use my editing software that I've been using, it cuts the quality of my videos down like almost to nothing, which is upsetting because it didn't do that when I used the free version of it. So using the, well, Rebel, you've already eat all that? Musby's still over here, got half of his to go. When I was using the free version of that, it didn't cut down like the quality of my videos. So I don't know what the deal is with all that, because I can shoot in 4K. So I don't know about doing slides and all that, but actually it might help. So I don't know, we'll just see what happens. But I've tried to shoot that video several times, and first couple of times, you know, I cried, and I don't want to do that when I'm talking to you guys about it. And, you know, I probably don't need to do it when I look like death warmed over either. So we'll just do a brief version today maybe. But I just want people mainly to get from this whole message that if you do have a chronic illness and you're on my channel, I hope that I can bring you some comfort, I guess, and to kind of let you know that you're not alone. I have it. I know there's lots of YouTubers that have it. I just learned yesterday that one of my favorite YouTubers, Remington, who also does hauls and things that like I do on my channel, she's got really great editing, by the way, so you need to go check her out if you haven't. I can't spell it for you because it's different than the way you would spell it, because it has, I think, a Y in it somewhere. But anyways, try to look her up. Her name is Remington, and I believe she's out in Texas, I think. But anyway, she does great videos. She has fibromyalgia. Never knew it, but I happened up on the video yesterday, and I thought, well, that's more encouraging. That helps me want to share my story more. But anyways, here's a little bit about fibromyalgia in a nutshell, I guess. You always feel like you have the flu. Think of the worst case of flu you have ever had in your entire life. Multiply it by... He just belched. Was it good, Mosby? Usually when he belches, that means he's through. You want to give the rest to Rebel? Imagine the worst case of the flu you've ever had. Here you go, Rebel. Multiply it by 2 or 3. And that's kind of my baseline for how I feel every day. So I always feel sluggish. I always feel worn out no matter how much sleep I get. And I average on and off, because I toss and turn all night. And then these guys get me up during the night too a lot. I average anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a night of sleep. So you can imagine, after years of that and feeling like you got the flu constantly, kind of just how it wears on your body. I have I don't know, imagine if you've got arthritis. That's how fibro feels too, but your joints don't, or they say that when they do an x-ray that they don't inflame like that, like arthritis does, but that's what it feels like. And I think they do, because that is exactly how it feels. There are some days where I can't hold a pen, or you know, I have a hard time touching like the buttons on my phone or typing. I always have a hard time grasping onto things. So I'm real bad about something like this, grabbing it too hard to make sure I've got a grip on it, and, you know, breaking it, squeezing it, and making a mess. So there's all kinds of things that comes along with fibro. I have confusional migraines. I have back issues, scoliosis, IBS, allergies. It can affect absolutely every part of your body, and you never know. It could be something different from minute to minute. You never know how something's going to affect you. Somebody touching you, it hurts. Like, if you can just look at me and like you're going to poke me, and my whole body will seize up, because I just know how bad it's going to hurt. And they really don't know what causes fibro. There's lots of theories out there, and there's lots of research now. Back when I was diagnosed 22 years ago, there was not a lot of research out there at all. And the best they can tell, they think it's either from an illness or a trauma. And I think mine was absolutely from trauma to my body. When I was a very small child, to the time I was 14, I worked alongside my father in his woodworking shop and antique business and auction business, just like a grown man would. And I think that was too much on a little girl's body. You know, I had scoliosis, and I just think it was too much picking things up, lifting, pulling, tugging, all of that kind of stuff. And so I think that was like the first kind of trauma to my body. Then when I would have accidents, I couldn't just stub my toe. I had to break my toe off. I mean, you know, I was just that kind of kid. Here hit a flatbed truck right here, knocked me off my bicycle. I was out riding with my cousins and turned around to look and didn't see the flatbed and went whoop. And so that about killed me. Matter of fact, the little old men in the community I lived in all came running out of the store because they thought it had killed me. And then I was a little bit older and I was planing some lumber with my dad, and the blade came off the planer, and we were in an old bank building, and so it was cement, and it bounced wall to wall, wall to wall, wall to wall, till it bounced off my hip and then kept bouncing wall to wall, wall to wall. And we found it actually where I go to church now, outside across the street in the churchyard. So that could have just about killed me. So it was things like that. And there was 3 or 4 other little accidents that I had that I think really pushed my body over the edge and gave me fibro. I don't ever remember ever not hurting. So some kids can have it, and I think I did because of all the pushing, pulling, tugging, and heavy lifting and all that I did as a kid, and then all of my accidents as well. So I'm convinced that's what gave me my fibro. Well, I worked through all that. Never knew any different. And put myself through 2 college degrees. Worked full time as I went through college. And worked in professional radio for 10 years. When I got my master's degree, I worked in social work for about 3 or 4 years. And then the economy decided to tank on us, and so I didn't work for a little while, and then I went to work for a promotions company, written for a magazine, just all kinds of stuff like that. It's always like an office manager of some type, or human resources, that kind of stuff. So when I was about 38, 39, around that age, my body decided to just kind of crap out on me. And so for me to stop working, that was the hardest decision I have ever made in my entire life. I struggled and struggled and struggled with that because that's all I've known my entire life. I've always had to work for things that I wanted, and it was just a hard decision. But you know, things happen for a reason, and things fall into place the way that they do. I guess it was just time, and it was meant to be. I was working part-time in a promotions company and kind of really enjoyed it. I was doing internet work and that kind of stuff, and their office manager up and quit after about 10 years of working for them. And so I took on more hours and took over some of those duties. However, it was a family-owned company, and the wife in the company was not very nice to me there, especially on the end, because she had to take on some additional duties, because that was, you know, why I told them I would take on more duties if I didn't have to do such, and they could hire somebody else or whatever. You know, I liked my part-time job. So they wanted me to work the full-time hours and then her take on some of those duties. Well, I think she kind of resented that towards the end, because that cut into her personal time, you know. And she was just downright mean to me and would have me in tears before I could even start work every day for like the last 2 months I worked for them. And it threw me into the biggest fibro flare I've ever had in my entire life. I was having confusional migraine headaches every day, and just physically she beat me down. So the day that she decides to go off on me so bad that it hurt my feelings so bad that I will never get over it, and her husband had to step in and say, look, this is uncalled for, that was the day I decided I don't think I'll be going back to work there. And then after that, like the next day or the day after, actually my mother ended up going into the hospital with blood clots. So things kind of worked out to where they were like, you know, this is too much stress on your body. You're physically not able to do this anymore. I need you at home to help take care of me. So just, you know, let's just do that. We'll be okay financially. You know, it'll be tough, but we'll just pull together and make it. So at that time, my stepfather was still healthy. And so we just did that, and I'd take her to her hair appointments and, you know, just make sure she had everything she needed. She was still mobile at that time too. And so it just kind of worked out. So we quit, or I quit working, I guess, 2011, I think. And again, that was like the hardest decision I ever made. I mean, it was hard. But physically, I think it has really helped because my back was going out so much. Just, it was stress that was making me ache 10 times more than I already do. And, you know, you already hurt really bad. So I need to stop this and pause it and then make another segment. So I will be right back. Okay. I don't want to make it over 15 minutes or I won't be able to upload it per segment. So anyways, that's kind of like my backstory on Fibro, and so I don't work anymore, and that has seemed to help a little bit as far as my flares. Now when I do things like try to hang curtains and hold my arms over my head for 5 minutes and, you know, just kind of things out of the ordinary, then I do know I'm going to pay for that. Like the concert, I just didn't know I was going to be paying for it for 2 weeks. But you know, you've got to keep on living. You can't just roll over, and you can't quit everything. And it already takes away a lot of your social interactions with people. It takes away your self-worth. You know, that was the hardest part for me because I had worked my butt off for everything I've ever gotten in my life. You know, I had worked so hard to get through college and a master's degree, and you know, this just was not the life I had planned for myself. And so it was just always hard. I felt like I was pushing myself harder and harder and doing all this stuff for everybody else, but really I wasn't doing anything for myself, and I wasn't taking care of myself and the things I needed. And I think that just pushed my body over. I mean, I just could not do it anymore. I had done it and done it and done it since I was a little kid, and my body had just had enough. So occasionally you will see, if I do a video where I'm not feeling well, I mean, you can pretty well tell it because no hair, no makeup, ball hat, you know, that kind of stuff, or you just won't hear from me at all. And so that's kind of, if I disappear, I'm not gone for good. I'm just not feeling well, and I will be back eventually. And right now I'm feeling much better than I have been the past 2 weeks, so we will do some more videos and get them out. I've got a fingernail video right now that I need to go on and list so that you guys can see it. Here's the fingernails from the Dollar Tree. I lost these two that I've painted pink. I have no idea where they went. This was very comical. I wish I could have taped the whole deal doing this. I mean, they would fly off and go across the room and glued my skin together and everything. It was just a big hot mess. I do like the way they look though, so I might try this again. I don't know. Yeah, it was just something. So anyways, I have a review video for those that I need to post, and we'll go to the Dollar Tree here this next week maybe, and there's a couple of things I need for the house to pick up, and we'll go to a different town and see what they have. That's another thing. I just don't put myself under any stress anymore. If I can not stress out over something, then I'm good. So I don't drive in downtown Nashville anymore. That just is not worth it to me whatsoever. So as long as I can go to Murfreesboro or to Hermitage, which is as far out that I want to go as far as traffic, you know, and as long as I can find my Dollar Trees there, there's 5, I think. Yeah, there's 5 in that area. So I'm pretty good to go with those. I usually shop at 3 of them. So anyways, I'm fixed on Dollar Tree places to go, and I can do that without feeling like I'm gonna pull my hair out when I get somewhere. And we'll go do that next week and do a shop with me maybe, and a haul hopefully. And I think that's all for me today. I'm going to finish my drink. We're going to head home. Will should be home from Kentucky any time now, and I want to spend a few minutes with him before he has to go to bed to go to work tomorrow. And I hope you guys are having a food-tabulous Sunday, and I will check in with you guys really, really soon for another video.